Hey everyone, this is Christian here. I am going to be showing you how to install my packetbatch program and using the special version that utilizes the DPDK, which is Data Plane Development Kit. The DPDK is a kernel bypass library, so it is a bit more complicated to install. I'm not going to show you how to install the DPDK itself. I do have some commands in the GitHub repo that does a default installation perhaps, but you should really consider reading uh, the documentation here, including system requirements, because it does only support specific hardware. Um, but you should really consider just reading this and then learning how to compile the DBK or DPDK as well. These are basically the commands I provide in the GitHub repo here, which installs it for me fine. I wanted to install some examples too, so I just added these command or this flag. Anyways, we're not going to be using my neat Kali VM this time because I haven't installed the DPDK on there, and I'm sure it's going to cause some complications. So I'm going to use my home VM. I'm actually in New Jersey right now with my family, and my home VM's in San Antonio, but I have an open VPN connection. Anyways, so we'll get started. The first thing I want to show you here is some tools with the DPDK, some Python scripts that will allow you to look at the interfaces, or really ports, I should say. So we'll go into after you like install the DPDK from source, you should have obviously a directory with the source files, but there should be a user tools directory, and this contains some Python scripts for allocating huge pages, which is required. Dev find, this is the one we're interested in right now. So I will be using debbind. Now, let's see here. The first command I'm going to run is just going to show the interfaces. After you install the DPDK, you may have now everything's virtualized for me, but you will likely have to bind a DPDK compatible driver to the port, and the port I'm interested in here is actually this. So you can simply use, first of all, you want to copy the PCI ID and use this command, and we're gonna bind the VFIO-PCI driver. So PCI driver, and then we're just going to paste the PCI ID. Okay, actually, I remember exactly why this happens. It's only through that. Might not have it in. There's something you have to disable. Don't have it. Okay, anyways, that doesn't matter right now. That was just something for the virtualization. But yeah, usually you would use that command to bind it, and you can do the -s to confirm. But I'm just going to be showing, I just wanted to show that for people wondering. But really, we want to just build and install the application, which is quite easy. So the first thing we're going to do is do git. Make sure your system has git. If it doesn't, you can use something like apt space install space git for Ubuntu/Debian or yum install. for CentOS. After that, you want to do git space clone and then use the hyphen hyphen recursive flag. And then the repo itself. It's going to be. You don't need the .git usually, but I just do it because this is common practice. If you did not use the hyphen hyphen recursive flag, these submodules will not be populated. Therefore, you have to go into the folder. I just realized I did this in the DBK user tools, so we're going to move this. Into my home directory. So we will have it right here. We can go into it. And as I was saying before, if you did not use that hyphen hyphen recursive flag, you can go into the repo directory just like I did, and then do git space submodule space update space hyphen hyphen init, which is init, and that will populate the submodules for you. And the submodules is actually we have common. You will have to go into the common submodule as well and do the submodule update because it needs to get the libyaml library or repo. So it's really much easier just to use the hyphen recursive flag. Anyways, we used the DPDK common, which is another project I made this to make it simple to set up DPDK projects for me. Others can use it as well. I think it's pretty useful, at least for general purposes. If you want something more complicated, you're not going to get much out of that, but you still might find some of the things useful in there. Anyways, we're going to want to get the needed tools, which is going to be build essential for make, and then Clang for compiling, because that's the compiler we use. And for libyaml, we're going to get another called autoconfig, but without the IG at the end, and libtool. So these should already be installed, I think. Yep. So after that, you'll have to do sudo make or run make as root. The reason why is because libyaml installs its header files to /user/local/include, and that you can only write to that with root. I know it's a little inconvenient because you're supposed to run make as the user and then make install that installs everything, but as of right now you have to, I mean, I could make it so it does sudo, like add sudo in the make file, but not all systems have sudo, so I want to just make it more compatible with all systems. So just right now you had to do sudo make. If I find a better solution, I'll do that. After you run sudo make, it should install libyaml first. You'll see some warnings and notes. Just ignore them. It looks like libyaml uses GCC as well, but build-essential installs all of that for you. The only thing that we needed outside of build essential was Clang, because my projects are built with Clang. See, all the DPDK static libraries are used. Well, actually, I think there's two versions of the DPDK common. There's the shared and static libs, but this project itself is using the shared files, it looks like, or shared linked files. So anyways, once it's installed, you can then do sudo make install. and it will install the binary from, or the executable, I should say, from the build directory to user/bin, which should be in your path, so you can just use sudo packetbatch. A few things to note here. I was trying to think. Oh, never mind. I just like drew a blank. Anyways, you'll then have to modify the pack. It will install the default config, which is really just an explanation of it, but you'll have to configure all this, including the interface. With the DB, okay, now I remember what I was going to say. With the DPDK version, the threads setting is completely ignored because we use the DPDK's EAL parameters, which you then specify how many L cores to spin up. And doing that, you just do sudo packetbatch. I think it's L, and then you have to specify the IDs. So just 0 to 3 spins up 4 L cores, and then hyphen ends the ELL parameters, and then you can. There's another option called queues, which is basically the queue count defaults 1. And then the port mask. For my VMs, since there's only one port, we just enabled the first one, so the port mask is just 1. If you want to enable it on all, it's FF, but that's if you have, 32 ports. I think 32 is the max. There's also burst size, which is basically when we TX packets, we store the packets in a buffer. And that's the max buffer size we can go to. And then we, very, very often we check to drain the buffer in the while loop. And then we send all that packets out once. That actually increases performance because we're not executing, we're not sending packets one by one. We're sending it in batches, basically, which increases performance. Anyways, that's about it. If I execute this, it's not going to run. Shouldn't it? Yeah. No available ports because I couldn't bind that port. And that's because there's like a setting I have to enter 0 into a cat, and I just need to find out how to do that after reboot as well. But yeah, that's basically about it. Also, you would have to comment out the -includes in the packetbatch config. I need to comment that out in the example config. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. I apologize again if if you heard some background noise or me breathing. I have a cold right now. I tried adjusting some of the noise settings, so I hope it wasn't that bad. But yeah, thank you for watching, and have a great day.